Welcome to the Kaleidoscope tutorial. I'm going to start off by creating a new document and then a black triangle. I'm going to cut out pieces of that black triangle and then duplicate it and flip and rotate that triangle in order to create a kaleidoscope-like effect. File New, and I'm going to create a document that is 8 inches in width, 8 inches in height, with a resolution of 150 pixels per inch. Color mode is RGB color, 8-bit, and my background to start with is white. And I'm just going to title this Kaleidoscope. And I'll click OK. The first thing I want to do is bring out my guides, and you need rulers. I've got rulers out already, but if by chance you don't have rulers out, go to View, Rulers, and that will bring up these rulers onto your interface. And with the Move tool, I'm just going to grab a ruler, or pardon me, a guide, and I have to click right on the ruler itself and then drag. The first guide is going to snap right to the outside edge of my stage, and the same with the top guide. I'm going to drag a guide to the top. That's going to help me with the next step. I'm going to drag out another guide about halfway across at 4 inches and let it snap. And then this one is going to come down to 4 inches as well. I'm going to let it snap. The next step is to grab the polygon lasso tool. The polygon lasso tool is going to create some nice straight lines for me, which is really what I want. And I'm going to start here right in the middle of my stage and click, and then let go of the mouse, and then go up to the top edge. And I know that if I'm close, it's going to snap a point right on that intersection of my guides, and it's going to snap another one right there. And then I'm going to go back to the middle, the middle of the stage. And when I mouse over the first point, that little circle will appear on my little cursor. And that tells me that if I click, it's going to create another point right over top of the first point and create a marquee for me. So there's my marquee. I'm going to fill my marquee, but first I have to create a new layer. I don't want to paint on the background. So I have to click the new layer icon and create a new layer. I'm going to double click on layer 1. I'm going to call it triangle. And then I'm going to fill it. There's a couple different ways to fill. You can go to Edit, Fill with foreground color, which happens to be black, and I'll click OK. Now, the thing about filling it once is that this line right here is supposed to look smooth, but it's not, because it's made of pixels. And if I do a Control Plus, I'll zoom in, and we can see that the computer is trying to trick us into thinking that this is a smooth line by adding some lighter shade pixels in there between the black and the white background in order to convince us that that's a smooth line. But it's going to mess us up in the final product. It's going to give us this weird little line in the 4 corners, which we don't want. So we're going to have to fill this again. So instead of going to Edit, Fill, I'm just going to do an Alt, Backspace. And notice that the gray pixels are a little darker. And I'll do it again and again. And I'll just keep doing that until I'm positive that those pixels are now solid black. They're not a shade of gray. And once I do that, I can do a select, deselect, and get rid of my marquee. I'll do a Control minus to zoom back out. There we go. And I'm going to hide my guides. View, Show, guides. I'm just going to hide them for now. And I'm going to duplicate this triangle. I drag this triangle down to the new layer icon. That's one method to make a duplicate or a copy. And then I'm going to hide this original triangle. So if I want to go back and do this whole assignment over again, I don't have to go through the whole process of making a triangle. I've got one just sitting back for me here. So I'm going to take this copy and I'm going to delete portions of it. And think of it like a snowflake that you created in elementary school. You took a piece of paper, you folded it up several times, and you formed this triangle. And then you took your scissors and you cut out parts of that triangle and then unfolded it, pardon me, and you've got this lovely snowflake. We're going to do the same sort of thing, not the same method, but the same idea that we're cutting out portions of this solid piece. And I'm going to do that with the eraser tool. And the eraser tool is just like the paintbrush tool in that there's brushes. And typically, when you look at the brushes, they're these ones right here. Very plain, just a few of them, not very exciting. And what we have are other brushes here, but by default there's only a few brush sets available to you, so you have to load some brushes. So if you click load brushes, my students will have to go to Q, hand in, R Wallace, go to computer, Q drive, handout, R Wallace, New Media 9 or AGA 15, and the folder is brushes. And inside that folder you'll find a whole bunch of .abr files. Select one, load it, and just see what they look like. I'm going to go with, let's go with WG Dynamic Light Brushes. And I'll just click OK. I'll grab one of these brushes. This one is really quite large, so I'll lower the size of it. And what I'll try to do is cut this out in some fashion. Maybe something like that. And I'm going to click a few times so that I get some solid white through there, as well as some light gray along the edge. Maybe I'll change my brush. What does that one look like? That one's not too bad. I'll bump that down. Maybe I'll try clicking. No, I'll move it up right there. Something like that. And I can load other brush sets. There we go. Maybe I'll try something like this. Well, we'll see what that looks like. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. Now, I'm going to grab my move tool and I'm going to duplicate this triangle. And there's several ways to do that. The first method is grabbing the layer, dragging it down to the new layer icon. And then I'll just move this over and I'll let it snap into position. And then go edit, transform, and I'm going to flip this layer. I'm just going to make sure that I've got this snapped in the right position. Now I'm going to smoosh these two layers together or merge them. I'll go right click, merge down, and then I'm going to duplicate this layer again. The other method is Control J on the keyboard, and there's my copy. I'll let it snap to the bottom and then go edit, transform, and this time I'm going to transform it vertically, so flip vertical, and I'll merge these two. Right click, merge down, or Control E on the keyboard. And then this time, I'm going to hold the Alt key down and drag off another copy. Let go of the mouse, let go of the keyboard, There's my other copy. I'm going to go Edit, Transform, and I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees counterclockwise, and I'll just let it snap into position. And then I'll merge this down. Right-click, merge down, and there's my final product right there. I'm going to hide this and go to my background layer by selecting it, clicking on it, and I'm going to go View, Show, Guides again, just so I get this guide out. Now I'm going to create a gradient, and by default it'll go to the foreground color, background color. In this case it's black and white, but there are other colors in here. I'm going to try this one right here. There's rainbow and lots of different ones. If I click here, there's a linear gradient, but I think in this case it makes more sense to use the radial gradient, which is the second button. And I'm going to click right in the center of my stage and drag off to a corner and let that go. Not too bad. Now if I reveal my triangle, that's what it looks like. And if I don't like that, I'll try the rainbow gradient. I'll drag that up there. That's not too bad. I'll try it this direction this time. Oh, I like that one much better. So depending on your color choices, you're going to get light colors that will bring things to the front. Darker colors will send things to the back. And your mid-tone colors will be kind of around the middle area. So this creates quite a bit of depth. Quite a bit of depth in this mosaic or kaleidoscope. Now I can hide my triangle and reveal my first made triangle, copy it, hide the original, and then create another one. So I can grab different brushes, I can do different methods in cutting out this triangle and see what else I can get. So I don't have to just stay with this first attempt. Practice, do many examples, because the first one, chances are, won't be your best one. So play with it, have fun, and that's the Kaleidoscope tutorial.